There was a study from Princeton University that found visual clutter competes for our attention, and it results in decreased performance and increased stress. This is especially true in small spaces, where clutter has an even more concentrated impact on our visual field. So as busy moms, we're making thousands of decisions every day. It's insane to say thousands because it's like, man, what? Yeah, my friend, it is thousands of decisions every day, from what to make for dinner to how to handle workplace challenges. When our physical environment is cluttered, it adds hundreds of micro decisions to our already taxed brains. By decluttering and thoughtfully organizing those small spaces, you're not just making your home look better and feel better, you're reducing your daily cognitive load and creating breathing room for your mind. Hey friend, welcome to Tidy the Clutter podcast. I'm Mariah and I'm so glad you're here. This is your space for discovering real life ways to simplify both your home and digital world. Life moves fast, and between work, family, and everything else on your plate, finding time to get organized can really feel overwhelming. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be. Each episode, we'll be exploring practical strategies and simple solutions that make organizing feel doable, even on your busiest days. Whether you're looking to create routines that stick, streamline your digital life, or bring more calm to your living spaces, you'll find actionable tips you can start using right away. So get comfy, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive in. Are you struggling with cramped closets and cluttered corners? Discovering small space organization secrets and actionable decluttering tricks that can really transform your home and save you time. That is what we're talking about today, my friend. And I am so glad you are joining me today, because if you're anything like me and most moms I talk to, small spaces in your home can somehow just really quickly become a complete chaos zone. You know those spots like the entryway where everything seems to land, or the closets that somehow shrink overnight, and those tricky corners that collect those randomized items like magnets? Today, we'll be exploring how our physical spaces affect our mental well-being, especially when it comes to those small, often overlooked areas of our homes. We'll talk about how reclaiming these small spaces can have a big impact on your daily stress levels as a busy mom. Let's just start with something I found to be absolutely essential when working with small spaces. You have to declutter before you organize. So picture this. It's a Saturday morning. You've finally carved out time to tackle that overflowing coat closet, and you head to the store to buy all those pretty storage containers that you've been eyeing because you are pumped and ready to just jump in. Well, you fast forward 3 hours and you're still surrounded by new organizational supplies, but the closet still looks like a disaster zone. Does this sound familiar? Here's the truth. Organizing clutter just gives you organized clutter. When space is at a premium, which it is for most of us, you need to be intentional about what you keep and what needs to go. So before we talk about clever organizational hacks, I want us to take a step back. For any small space that you're tackling, whether it's your entryway, a bedroom closet, or that awkward corner in the living room, ask yourself these 3 questions. First, when was the last time I used this item? Second, does it serve a current purpose in my life? And third, if I saw this in a store today, would I buy it again? This mental filter really helps cut through the, but I might need it someday thinking that we talked about in the last episode. And it really just keeps us holding on to these things that are taking up valuable space. Let's get practical here. For moms, This might mean finally letting go of those baby clothes you've kept just in case when your youngest is now in elementary school, or those broken toys you've set aside to fix someday, but you've never gotten to and the kids don't remember them. Or even that collection of mismatched plastic containers with missing lids, taking up valuable cabinet space. Now that we've talked about decluttering first, let's talk about one of the biggest missed opportunities in small space organization. It is the vertical space. When organizing a small space like a coat closet or an entryway, most people focus on what they can spread out horizontally. But the real game changer is thinking about it upward. What do I mean by that? So vertical organization means utilizing the full height of your space from floor to ceiling. In a coat closet, for example, this might look like installing a second hanging rod above the first for seasonal items, or using the inside of the door with an over-the-door organizer for mittens, hats, or even small accessories, or adding hooks at different heights for bags, backpacks, or even pet leashes. This could also look like placing less frequently used items on high shelves. And lastly, it could even look like using the floor space for shoe organizers or boots. The beauty of vertical organizing is that it can literally double or even triple your usable space without expanding your square footage. Another vertical organizing tip, consider the depth of your space too. In closets, you can often add hooks to the side walls, not just the back wall. In corner shelving units can transform a dead space into functional storage. And here's the reality check. The easier something is to put away, the more likely it will actually get put away. So make sure your vertical solutions are practical for daily use, not just pretty to look at. Although it is a perk when they're pretty. Now let's also talk about something that can transform how you use your small spaces every single day. A principle I'm going to call making your space work smarter, not harder. When your vertical organization system is in place, you'll notice something amazing. Your mornings run smoother. Your kids can actually find their own stuff. And you're not constantly picking up the same items over and over and over again. This leads me to a very common organizing myth that I honestly just need to address. You know what I'm talking about here, right? Those beautiful photos of drawer organizers with tiny boxes inside of them, which have even tinier containers inside of those. While this can look super satisfying on Instagram and Pinterest, in real life, it's often inefficient, especially in small spaces. And here's why. Every container takes up space itself. The walls of each box consume precious inches, and then space is at a premium. Those inches really matter. Now, don't get me wrong. There are absolutely times when nested containers make sense. For example, if you're organizing small items in a craft space, like having those googly eyes in a small container within a larger craft box, or buttons inside the sewing kit, these make complete sense because they keep tiny items from getting lost. But for everyday items like socks or underwear or kitchen utensils or mittens, too many containers can become time-consuming to maintain and actually waste space rather than save it. So instead, I have 4 different alternatives that I'm going to suggest. The first is use dividers rather than separate boxes when possible. For example, in a kitchen drawer, a simple utensil divider works better than multiple small containers for different types of spoons. Now, the second, look for adjustable organizers that can be customized to your space, like drawer organizers that expand and contract to fit perfectly in your bathroom vanity, I have one of those in my kitchen utensils drawer. I can have it grow bigger horizontally, or I can shrink it horizontally. And it's almost the perfect size vertically, but there's still enough space that I can lay my skewers. So it fits beautifully, but it's also practical because when my kiddos are helping me unload the dishwasher, they know exactly where the spoons go and the knives and the little tiny spoons and forks. Now, my third one, consider whether items really need to be contained or just neatly arranged. Folded towels in a linen closet often stay tidier without additional containers taking up space. And lastly, choose stackable containers that use that vertical space efficiently, such as clear storage bins that they can just stack on pantry shelves, making it super easy to see what's inside while still maximizing the height. Remember that the goal here isn't picture perfect organization. It's functional spaces that work for your real life as a busy mom. Now let's dive into some of the most common small space challenges I hear from busy moms and a couple of practical solutions for each of them. The first challenge, you know the scene: backpacks, shoes, mail, and random items creating a minefield just inside your door. The entryway often becomes a dumping ground because it's the transition zone between outside and inside life. So a quick solution here would be to create dedicated zones for each family member with individual hooks mounted at appropriate heights, small bins for shoes, and a mail sorting system that prevents paper pileup. A small bench with storage underneath can serve double duty for sitting and storing seasonal items. The second challenge, when your closet is bursting at the seams, getting dressed becomes a daily stress trigger. A good solution here would be to implement the 1 in, 1 out rule to maintain closet capacity. Use slim velvet hangers to increase hanging space by up to 30%. Or if you are budget conscious like me, simply switch to using all the same type of hangers from your local Walmart or Target. Having uniform hangers, even the basic plastic ones, can make a huge difference in both space saving and visual organization. Consider a seasonal rotation system where off-season clothes are stored elsewhere, or they're pushed to the very back of your closet. And here's a tip that really changed my closet forever. Hanging items by category is so helpful. I've seen some people do category and color. I just don't have time for the color, but I can definitely do the category. So my long sleeves are with the long sleeve sweatshirts and so on and so forth. It's easier for me to find what I'm looking for when it's that way. And it not only looks organized, but it just makes things much easier when you're in a rush and trying to get yourself and the kids ready in the morning. Now, the third challenge is those tricky corners in living rooms, bedrooms, kitchens. They just become these clutter magnets and practically wasted space, if we're being honest. A great solution would be to transform these into functional nooks with corner shelving, a reading corner with a small bookshelf, or even a compact home office setup. Floating shelves can turn a blank wall into valuable storage without taking up the floor space. I actually have 3 floating shelves in my corner of my home office that it just works wonderfully. I've got a plant up there and I've got books and some stones. It just works really great. They take up 0 floor space, but give me easy access to what I would need. And it doesn't have to sit on my desk, which I really like because I hate when my desk gets cluttered. Living in a small space really doesn't mean living with limitations. I think that is something that is more negative than realistic. It doesn't have to be. If we think about organizing vertically instead of horizontally and utilizing both of those, you can really reclaim gosh, what was it? I think it was up to 40% of more usable space in your home without adding a single square foot. The secret isn't about getting rid of everything you own. It's about intentional organization that works for your lifestyle and not against it. Now, I promise we touch on the science of organization and mental well-being. So let's just talk about that for a moment. There was a study from Princeton University that found visual clutter competes for our attention, and it results in decreased performance and increased stress. This is especially true in small spaces, where clutter has an even more concentrated impact on our visual field. So as busy moms, we're making thousands of decisions every day. It's insane to say thousands because it's like, man, what? Yeah, my friend, it is thousands of decisions every day, from what to make for dinner to how to handle workplace challenges. When our physical environment is cluttered, it adds hundreds of micro decisions to our already taxed brains. Where are my keys? Did I sign that field trip form? Where did I put the library books that need to be returned? Is there a clean soccer uniform for tonight's game? Do we have matching shoes for all 3 kids for the family photos? Where did I put that bill that's due tomorrow? Did I pay that medical bill? So many decisions. By decluttering and thoughtfully organizing those small spaces, you're not just making your home look better and feel better, you're reducing your daily cognitive load and creating breathing room for your mind, which we need our minds. We need our minds. I can't emphasize that enough. We need our minds. I notice this most in my mornings. When my mudroom is organized, my family can get out the door with so much less stress. Those extra minutes not spent searching for the youngest other shoe or the oldest coat just translates to a calmer start, which sets the entire day. So as we wrap up today's episode on small space organization, let's just recap our key strategies. So always declutter before organizing and be honest about what you truly use and need. Maximize that vertical space by utilizing the full height of the closets, corners, and entryways. Avoid the box within a box trap. Use containers strategically, not excessively. Create dedicated zones in high traffic, small spaces like entryways. And remember that organizing small spaces isn't just about the aesthetics. It directly impacts your mental well-being and daily stress levels. I hope these tips help you reclaim those challenging small spaces in your home and really create more breathing room for yourself, both physically and mentally. Because remember, the goal here is never perfection. It's creating spaces that support your real life and reduce the daily friction. I will be adding my favorite floating shelves to the show notes, and you can just look at them on the show notes. Just head on over to tidytheclutter.com/027. Next week, we're going to be diving into digital decluttering for busy moms, and I'll be sharing some simple strategies for tackling those thousands of photos on your phone. I know we had an entire episode about it, but I'm going to just sprinkle a couple of strategies into next week's episode, or managing your inbox and creating those digital systems that will save you time rather than creating more work. And if you felt overwhelmed just looking at your phone or your computer, I don't think you'll want to miss it. But until then, remember, my friend, you don't have to organize everything all at once. Small spaces, small steps equal big impact. I will see you next week, my friend. Bye. That's all for today's episode. Remember, creating a tidy home isn't about perfection. It's about taking one small step at a time. Each tiny win adds up. And before you know it, you are making real progress in your space and your life. I hope you're leaving today feeling excited about your next small step forward. Did this episode hit home for you? Share it with that friend who's been feeling overwhelmed lately. Sometimes knowing we're not alone in the struggle is exactly what we need to hear. And if you are loving these tips, following the podcast and leaving a quick review really helps other moms discover these simple solutions too. You can find all the resources mentioned in today's episode, plus explore our previous episodes at tidytheclutter.com/podcast. And hey, if you haven't grabbed your free digital declutter checklist yet, this is your friendly reminder, my friend. Digital clutter is sneaking into our lives more and more each day, but you can take control before digital clutter takes control of you. Head over to tidytheclutter.com/digital15 to get started. Until next time, keep things simple, stay focused, and enjoy those small wins along the way. Take care and talk soon.